Tonight on Business Life, Enforcement and Tax Compliance team of the Ghana Revenue Authority arrests small business owners for failing to issue VAT invoices. We have details from the Achimota and the Amasaman metropolis, where the GRA conducted a special exercise today.
They have been arrested. That is, the owners or managers of these businesses have been arrested. The CID is taking them to the office. Their statements will be taken, and from there they will come to my office where preemptive assessments will be established.
In this bulletin, Adehyeman Savings and Loans Companies Limited partners the Ghana Commodity Exchange to offer commodity-backed loans to smallholder farmers and aggregators under a warehouse receipt financing scheme.
This partnership, at the end of the day, is to help the smallholder farmers. Because what we know is that because their financial capacity is not there and they don't have storage facilities and other things, they are forced to sell their produce as soon as they harvest.
Plus, some oil marketing companies and bulk oil distributors back out of government Gold for Oil program.
It's where sometimes it hurts us because when you speak to some of the technocrats within the regulatory space and then the other key state agencies, they all can tell you that if the policy continues like this, we still run some element of risk.
Details of these shortly. Always a pleasure to have you on. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Straight to our very first story. 3 hotels are among 6 businesses that were busted by the Enforcement and Tax Compliance team of the Ghana Revenue Authority for failing to issue value-added tax invoices. Today's operations focused on businesses in the Achimota, Amasaman and Domipila 2 metropolis. There is more in this report.
On against Section 41. Paragraph 21 of the regulation. So we are here to arrest you and also take all the receipts, the receipt book of this one and all other receipts. So that is the reason why we are here. It's only 2 things. We take all the receipt books of this one and also hand you over to the CID.
The team from the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service picked up officials of 3 hotels and 3 local retail operators who were busily serving customers at the time of their arrest. The exercise is part of a continuous effort by the authority to mobilize revenue for the state. According to head of the team, Joseph Annan, the culprits will be charged accordingly.
Today, our efforts took us to Achimota, and the company we visited is the Benuela Mother Care, that is at Achimota. Then George Nyaku Ventures, also Achimota. Diva Cosmetics, Achimota. Royal Inn Hotel, Amasaman. Raf Hotel, Domi. And then Parkview Hotel, Domi. Those where we are having this brief. Like I always say, they have been arrested. That is, the owners or managers of these businesses have been arrested. The CID is taking them to the office. Their statements will be taken. And from there, they will come to my office where preemptive assessments will be established and the payments will be done immediately. And then we'll recommend them for full audit, because once VAT is suffering, then your guess will be as good as mine. Other taxes will also suffer. And beyond that, the CID will continue with their investigations, and the docket will be built. And then the legal unit of GRA will take over the process and then decide on how to treat each and every case.
Mr. Annan added that the exercise has over the period helped to improve upon compliance.
If you look at the growth in the VAT collection has been very phenomenal, right from the last quarter of last year through to date. It keeps increasing. So we believe that this is really giving us some good returns. And I want to believe that this year we have been given a target of 84% growth. And I believe we can even achieve that, yes. Because last year we started just the last quarter. And the impact that it made in terms of collection was quite great. Yes, so I believe the message is going down well with the public.
Failure to issue the VAT invoice has denied the State of Revenue to embark on certain government businesses.
Now, the Adehyeman Savings and Loans Companies Limited has partnered with the Ghana Commodity Exchange to offer commodity-backed loans to smallholder farmers and aggregators under a warehouse receipt financing scheme. Under the scheme, agricultural commodities will be used as collateral to secure loans. This arrangement means interested farmers can store their commodities at a certified independent warehouse, secure the loan, and repay after selling the farm produce. Speaking to Joy Business after a signing ceremony, Managing Director of Adehyeman, Adehyeman, noted that the agreement would allow farmers to use receipts to access funds from Adehyeman. The warehouse receipt financing scheme comes at a time when smallholder farmers face serious financial challenges as they cannot access funds from the banking sector to finance the operations. In a short remark after the signing ceremony, Managing Director of Adehyeman Savings and Loans Company, Adehyeman, expressed hope that farmers will take advantage of the opportunity and avail themselves to secure loans that offer them the peace of mind to operate.
This partnership, at the end of the day, is to help the smallholder farmers. Because what we know is that because their financial capacity is not there and they don't have storage facilities and other things, they are forced to sell their produce as soon as they harvest. So this will allow them to store their produce and then with the warehouse of Ghana Commodity Exchange. And based on that, we can give them 70% of the value of their produce, and then when the season is out, then they can go back and get a higher price.
On his part, Chief Operating Officer of the Ghana Commodity Exchange, Robert Owu, was optimistic. Agreements such as these would help boost trading activities on the commodity exchange market.
So for the Ghana Commodity Exchange, financial institutions like Adehyeman and Savings and Loan is very key to help our farmers to be able to improve on their cultivation and also allows them to get better prices for the commodities. And on the other side of the divide where the buyers are, the buyers can also get the quantities and the qualities that they need. So it's a whole chain and they play a very key role in this chain.
Meanwhile, the agreement is expected, among other things, create opportunities for smallholder farmers to access credit for their farming activities. All right, so let's go on Zoom and speak to the chair of the Competitive Africa Rice Platform Ghana, Yao Edupoku, for more on this. Grateful you could join me, Mr. Edupoku. Now, do you think that the idea of the Ghana Commodity Exchange to trade grains for farmers is feasible, considering the fact that the idea was long announced?
It has been on the drawing board for quite a while. And I would say it is a laudable idea. But the mechanism to let it work is what is lacking in this program. For example, if Adehyeman is targeting small-scale farmers, how do the small-scale farmer qualify to be able to meet the stringent measures of commodity exchange? Commodity exchange operates on a different platform altogether. They operate on the international level. And so for your product to be accepted by the commodity exchange, you must be able to get it in that bracket for them to be able to trade with your product. This is a gap that has not been addressed. And we need to do that as early as possible for the small-scale farmers to be able to access and enjoy this facility. There's a difference between talking and doing. Most of it, the talk is so loud, but the doing is very little. And that is what has created a lot of messes in our system. For commodity exchange to come out and say, yes, we partner with Adehyeman for products to be brought to our warehouses. That is fine. Beautiful. On the book, there's nothing wrong with it. But getting the farmer from the farm end to the warehouse is a huge challenge for the farmer. For the farmer's product to be accepted by the commodity exchange is also a huge challenge. At the end of the day, if your products are rejected, you have already lost on the transportation. And so your product becomes very expensive on the local market. So we need to address these things. I think we should be looking at the aggregation level where an aggregator will go in and bring a group of small-scale farmers together and help them to prepare their product to be acceptable to the commodity exchange. This is what we need. The financing part is very interesting, but before you can assess it, the challenges that you go through has to be addressed.
Indeed, it has to be addressed. But the other challenge also has to do with warehouses. Do you think we have enough warehouses to support this initiative?
Let's put it this way. Do we have enough food in the system? When the harvest comes, you see so much, because we all grow at the same time and harvest at the same time. And so the onus is for us to have warehouses where we can store the products for future use or for later use. And so warehouses should be dotted all over the place. If we're talking about grains, yes, some grains can be put in the warehouse, others cannot be put in the warehouse. Do we have adequate preparation towards that? No. And so the warehouses are spotted across the country. It's not that adequate enough to take care. And I don't think commodity has enough resources to look into this properly. Every time the program is done piecemeal. A project that you need, say, $1 billion, we start with 10 million. And so definitely we'll lose the money. This is what is happening in the system. So I'll tell you the warehouses are not adequate.
Well, do you also hold the view that this will definitely result in fair pricing for Ghanaian farmers? Do you think so?
The contrary view. As I said, commodity exchange operates on an international level. And so once you pass the muster and they take over your products, that you know that you have a very good price on your product. Most of us will fail the test. And so once they come in, don't forget they are the middlemen. They have to make their margins on the same products. And so when you go to the commodity exchange to buy, be aware that if you are buying from the farmer to the Makola market, the price will definitely have some marginal change with it. And looking at how we want everything that cheap, I'm wondering how. But for people like us, we who are in the processing zone, we are happy to have the commodity exchange in the project because then it takes away the risk of going to the farmer and the aggregator not knowing what you're buying. As I'm talking to you, I'm a victim and I've lost millions. And so commodity exchange comes in and I am happy to have them on board. But then the challenge is the farmer end to the warehouse.
Mr. Poku, do you think that smallholder farmers have the capacity to join such initiative if indeed we see the aggregators, coming on board, ensuring that we have the farmers, basically joining the table to ensure that this initiative is materialized?
Honestly, I would say there is a challenge here. There is a challenge here because we don't even have the logistics to support this project. Let's say the warehouses are adequate and they are at places that you can access. we don't have the logistics and the labor and the mechanism to help you to really deliver to the warehouse. For example, we are doing peasant farm. A peasant farmer may do half an acre to 2 acres. The product, let me use what I'm familiar with. If you're doing rice and you do an acre, you are looking at about a ton, maximum a ton and a half. That is about 10 to 15, what we call anto bag. That big sacks that can take 100 kg. Getting a truck to pick this 100 kg from your farm gate, then go to pick another 100 from another farm gate is going to be a challenge. So we all have to have a delivery point. Is the delivery points right there so that the farmer will deliver to that delivery point where commodity exchange may do their cleaning and do their examination before they accept. These are some of the things we need to put in place. And mind you, Adehyeman will not take this extra cost. They will tell you we need 1,000 cedis, and the interest charges is 10%, 40%. So if it's 10%, you have to give us 1,100 at the end of the day. They will not go into the nitty-gritty, and then you are in trouble. By the time you finish, you cannot get that 1,000 back, and then fail. So we need to address all these challenges, make it interesting enough for the farmer to say, yes, my products are going to commodity exchange. And me knowing commodity exchange coming in to help me get the right quality and quantity will rather go to commodity exchange than to buy from the farm. So we need to address the challenges, which is inherent, which is real. Once these challenges are done, then the commodity exchange has brought in a very valuable, interesting.
All right. Thank you very much, Yao Edupoku. He's the chair in the Competitive Rice Africa platform speaking to us there. All right, so you're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Pius Kojo Baka. We've got more for you after this break. Hello, welcome back. This is Business Live. Some of the oil marketing companies and bulk oil distributors have backed out of government's Gold for Oil program. The program, which took off in January this year, is aimed at reducing fuel prices at the pumps. The country took its first consignment of 40,000 metric tons for onward supply to the oil companies and used gold for cash to buy finished products for the market. But Chief Executive of the Chamber, Dr. Patrick Kwekufori, says some of the oil firms withdrew from the program due to unresolved concerns.
And this is where sometimes it hurts us, because when you speak to some of the technocrats within the regulatory space and then the other key state agencies, they all can tell you that if the policy continues like this, we still run some element of risk. And clearly, what the recent happenings, especially to be specific, with GOI running out in the last 2 or 3 days that people are complaining, clearly gives a clear indication about the commercial terms that boss is supposed to give to Go Energy for Go Energy to offtake product from boss. You look at the model, and then you can clearly see that Go Energy may not necessarily be comfortable, or Go is not comfortable with that, but they are being compelled to do that. And that clearly resonates with your earlier point or suggestion or question. And for our own confirmation and assurance, we know that the Lakers have been skewed in favor of cost, and that they get preferential treatment, which is also true. And then when you also look at it from even the BOG point of view, that if indeed we're getting that quantum of dollars from the gold purchase program and the gold export program, we were expecting that the resultant dollars will hit the BOG for BOG to, in a way, increase the forest auctioning for the BDCs or the forest auctioning for the commercial banks for us to have access to. But you look at the two ends and their position clearly, it means that there is somehow a quasi approach in pushing the private sector participation in terms of having access to forests. But that notwithstanding, our members have demonstrated resilience of a typical Ghanaian entrepreneurs, and they've demonstrated their ability to also find creative and innovative way to compete, which we are very proud of.
While longer in the oil space, an oil marketing giant, GOIL, says it expects supply issues at all its service stations to normalize today. The development affected product availability, with some linking it to fuel shortage on the market. But speaking to my colleague James Ishen after the company's annual general meeting on Wednesday, Group Chief Executive Kwame Say Prempe noted that all the issues have now been resolved. He touched on other matters arising within the space.
Let me apologize through you to our customers who have faced challenges at our stations. We have the products. In the first, there were some challenges at the CDM. There were crises, so we couldn't discharge our cargoes as fast as should be. But then when we were able to discharge, there were some challenges in the loading section. That's what accounted for that. As at now, we have enough quantities to satisfy the market. So, in fact, when I answered the question, I said, normally we even supply 2.4 million a day on the market. Yesterday at management meeting, we decided to move it to 2.5 million, so that we make sure that this situation is normalized once and for all. So we assure you and we assure the public that they should go to gold filling stations. We believe that from tomorrow, everything will be normal. Everybody will get whatever quantities they have, and there will be no need for panic at all. They should rather come to us for the best.
We're expecting prices of oil or fuel to go down, but it seems it's rather going up. What's accounting to that?
Well, let me say that the prices, have come down drastically from the 23 cedis per liter. It has come to 12 point something. Yes, we were expecting that it will go, but you know that the city moved a bit, and it affected us a bit. But thanks to government's initiative, the G4, it was moderated.
You're still watching Business Live. For decades in Ghana, seedlings of cocoa, rubber, and other tree crops have been raised using topsoil. This destroys the land, as the top layer that would have been used for planting is taken for nursery, a very unsustainable practice. But Cocoa Board is seeking to change the narrative as it adopts a soilless growing medium to raise cocoa seedlings at its nurseries across the country. In the following report, Joy Business examines how the product manufactured by Ghanaian company Chris Fiber Limited and partners Adams Logistics may hold a solution to efforts by Cocoa Board to go green.
Every year, Cocoa Board raises millions of seedlings at its nurseries across Ghana using topsoil. This does not only destroy the environment, it also significantly reduces the survival rate of seedlings. Reverend Adehyeman Clotte is former head of the seed production division of Cocoa Board at the time.
Using topsoil is an environmental hazard. You destroy the environment, you degrade the environment, which is not too good. Yes, it increases erosion. Then scientists all over the world, agriculturists and horticulturists, are moving to the use of soilless medium. So it is a worldwide cry against environmental degradation and also the use of soilless medium. So I would strongly recommend that not only Cocoa Board, but NGOs, horticulturists all over Ghana should resort to the use of soilless.
But Cocoa Board is seeking to change this narrative as it introduces a soilless growing medium. This means millions of cocoa seedlings will now be raised without topsoil, but with a medium designed and manufactured in Ghana to replace topsoil. The Miracle Grow potting mix by Ghanaian agri-tech firm Chris Fiber Limited and partners Adams Logistics is fortified with essential nutrients. This is to ensure cocoa seedlings raised in earth is able to go 9 months without additional fertilizer.
The Miracle Grow potting mix is a fortified organic soilless medium. It's a substrate of cocoa peat and other natural substances, aided with a slow-release fertilizer that is good for raising all kinds of tree crops, especially cocoa and all other tree crops. The fibrous nature of the product, its root formation, it speeds up the growth of the plants and is able to retain water.
The Cocoa Research Institute of Cocoa Board discovered in 2021 that cocoa seedlings raised with the soilless medium were far stronger and bigger and had better leaves and stems.
Most of our topsoil, their seed content is so high, the pH level is not conducive enough for raising seedlings. The pH level of the product is solid, it's been tested at the Craig laboratories and it's been certified. If you want to go best practice, it's better you go this way. Now, using topsoil is also harmful to the environment.
The all-inclusive organic substrate is environmentally friendly and is expected to not only reduce the burden of farmers in the search for quality topsoil, but will also boost Ghana's cocoa and tree crop production sector in the long term.
Thanks so much for being part of the bulletin. I am Pius Kojo Baka. You can get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Always a pleasure serving you. To enjoy the rest of our programs.